Welcome back. It's Wake Up Nigeria. Is having a sense of entitlement good or bad? It's a feeling of rights of ownership, which may be perceived in another light. So we're asking Doctor. Yeah, I'm going to call you a doctor because you're a law doctor, relationship doctor. Damilola Oluwatoyinbo. It's so great to have you on the couch.
It's great to be here, MM. Thanks for having me again.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
all right, so what birthed this conversation basically was, on social media some time ago, a lot of men were going agog as to why they should be responsible for a lot of financial needs of their girlfriends. So they're asking, I ain't your papa. I don't know why I should be paying for your weave or buying your expensive clothing. Is that wrong, really?
Well, what I'll say is that it creates problems. Yeah, I've actually had those kind of conversations with people before who go like, my God, this girl, she won't kill me. As in, she's going to finish me. I mean, true story, one of my friends, he had a big breakthrough and he got a lot of money. So he called me, was so excited about it. And I was like, wow, your wife must be so excited. And he said, I can never tell my wife that I have this amount of money.
Wow.
And he actually warned me, said, please never, don't even congratulate her for anything.
Wow.
So there are people who have those kind of situations they're dealing with, and what happens is entitlement ultimately erodes trust. So over time, I begin to keep my things to myself, my money to myself, because I feel you're just all about yourself. You want to exploit me. So to answer very simply, it complicates issues. It brings about problems.
So you're saying that independency is key in every relationship?
I like to use the word for relationships, interdependence.
Interdependence,
yes.
Okay.
Where we're both contributing meaningfully. You're giving value, I'm giving value. That's how you can sustain that kind of relationship on the long run.
Well, because we live in a society where it's a patriarchal society, so the man pays the bills. You're the head of the home, right? Pay the bills. Okay, you're the head. The man is seen to be the head of everything.
Yeah.
So which spans
that's
across
sort of like changing now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, which spans across relationships, which spans across marriages. So it's normal that I should ask you for things because we are intimate. So I feel that you're responsible for it because at that particular point in time, you are the man.
Okay. Well, now that is changing because the people that say now that what a man can do, a woman can do better. Right? So definitely, I had to go. That's a classic, right? So if the man can pay the bills, then the woman can pay the bills too. Now, what is also true is that there are many women that rise to the occasion. So we're not trying to badmouth women. There are actually women who are carrying a whole lot more than men are doing. So kudos to those kind of women. But let me broaden the conversation a little bit and say, I believe that one of the major issues we have in Nigeria is this entitlement mentality. Where, the security guy at a company where you're doing business parks your car. I mean, it's being paid from the proceeds of your transaction, but he still expects that because you're driving this nice SUV, you should drop that odd 500 naira, 1,000 naira, or maybe Friday. In fact, one time on a Thursday evening, someone said, oh, God, happy weekend. I said, it's Thursday. Do you understand? So now, think about it this way. Where has that gotten us as a nation? Further behind. Now, a relationship is a microcosm of the nation or the community in which it exists. So if the entitlement mentality has eaten deep into the fabric of a nation and we're dealing with all kinds of backwardness and incompetence and mediocrity, may I also propose that in your relationship, if that entitlement mentality is not nipped in the bud, there's going to be mediocrity.
How do you do that?
How do you nip it in the bud? Okay, I think that one of the brilliant things to do, I'm a big believer in conversations.
Okay.
So I believe that somebody's getting some perspective from this, on social media or on television as they're watching right now. So what can you do? Can you say, hey, babes, let's talk? Sometimes it's also the man who's entitled, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just
because there are a lot of men now who are going into...
There are actually some men that use women, and because many women are vulnerable and soft-hearted and all of that, they don't get to know they're being used until this guy's gone out with 5 million naira and is nowhere to be found. Change his number, is out of the country. Because it's probably doing that to 3 or 4 other women, in different places in Nigeria. So have a conversation. Whenever you find it, discover that somebody is always on the receiving end. That person has become a leech. Emotional leech, financial leech. So say, okay, this is my observation. It always seems as if you have this appetite for more. So you've got the Brazilian hair, the Mexican hair, the Djibouti hair, the Saudi Arabian hair, and all of that. or vice versa, you always seem to be working on a contract. Guy, how far? You're asking for the 2 million naira, the 500K. What's going on? Let's have a conversation. Maybe there's a way I can help. Maybe I can be your hairdresser. Right. So have the conversation. Okay. Number two is you also want to check yourself to say, am I bringing my best to the table? Not from a place of possession or domination, but am I contributing for the good of the relationship? So I like to put it this way: if you're entitled, be entitled to the health of the relationship, not to the proceeds from it. Yeah.
Entitled to the health of the relationship. That's
Yes.
because you value the relationship.
Absolutely.
That's because you want the relationship to work.
Yes.
Interesting. So I really hope a lot of young women and men are actually watching this right now, because
I'm sure they are.
You know, because then you cannot take away the fact that it could cause a bit of friction.
Absolutely.
In this relationship, because then it's, so I'm not the one finishing your money, Abby. Okay, so is it because I'm asking, or would you? And then the question now comes, or do you want me to now move over to someone else who's going to be able to provide my needs?
Well, to be honest, from my experience in counseling people, couples, and people who are in relationships, if somebody puts up that attitude, then you're better off without them. Because that now makes it very clear that this guy is in a transactional relationship. It's not an inspirational relationship. It's not a cooperative relationship. It's transactional. It's a business deal for them. And so if they will not be honest enough to say, oh, well, that's a weak spot. I have daddy issues, you know, or I'm going through a rough patch financially, and I just need to support me through this next, 6 months or 12 months. If they will not have that degree of introspection and self-awareness to say, yeah, maybe this is true. Let me try to amend my ways, or just give me some time to get my finances together. Okay. And they're defensive and very insistent that they're doing the right thing, then you might want to review that relationship with the purpose of exiting it in a meaningful way.
Wow, interesting stuff. Talking about the society now, because quickly, like you mentioned earlier, it's an African
nationwide
thing.
affair.
How do we change, the way people think when it comes to, I need this, I want this, I'm entitled to it?
Yeah, it's a cultural reorientation. It's been a burden for me, because I see even people who are able-bodied and able to do some kind of business or get into self-employment, they're just waiting for that handout. Yeah. A lot of young people, I can understand that there's a lot of economic frustration. Sure. People are going through stuff, written jam 4 times, didn't get into school, bid for the contract 5 times, you're owing now. So I know that is there, but that's not an excuse, because every time you borrow or beg, you lose a sense of freedom. So you disempower yourself to the degree to which you feel entitled to something. That means I'm giving over my power to MM, and you're the person who's holding the tethers of my life, or the puppet strings, to say, have this, take this, have this. I'm giving you control. Now, once I relinquish control, I get into the blame game, which nobody wins. And once that happens, I cannot change the situation.
So we need to change.
So we're going to change that, but it's not going to happen in 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to happen with conversations like this.
Again, because it's important to keep, putting this into people's minds.
Yes, as an alternative reality.
Yes. Don't give away your power. You have the power, use it.
Yes.
And use it to your freedom.
Better yourself and better the society.
Thank you so much, Damilola. Always a pleasure having you. I really wish this conversation could go on and on and on, because we're having such a beautiful time on the couch. Thank you.